Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. We've been doing a lot and we're really busy and it's crunch time, 30 some odd days till the No Name Nationals, so I'm a long way from done. But I've been doing more work and less filming. So today we're just going to give you an update video. So let me walk you around and show you all the stuff we've done. Alright, so let's just start here at the truck. We have done a few things. We've gotten our throttle pedal in. Made a little plate to reinforce that area. It was starting to pucker the firewall, so I straightened that back out. Hammer dolly, whatnot. We've got the wipers installed. We got our wiring figured out for the wipers. I still got, this is our wiring harnesses I'm currently dealing with. There are some extra circuits. I believe I will not be using most of this. We shall see. Emergency brake needs to be installed. That's emergency brake cable. So we've got our plug hooking up the rear harness. So this is our fuel tank sender and our lights in the back. And then we have our front harness, which is basically just all our headlights and turn signals and all that stuff. So yeah, and this is our engine harness. I just got to get the engine in and we can start playing with that. The inside, well, that's a bit more of a mess. But we'll get that sorted. Basically everything's pretty well installed in there as far as controls. Gas pedals installed. I do have the brake pedal here. We did a bunch of modifications to that. I will show you that as well in order to make this work for both power and non-power brakes. And speaking of fuel sending units, boom, we solved our fuel injection to carburation issue by installing the carbureted version out of an 82 S10. It was a little bit long. I had to reshape the pickup tube in order to clear. There's a baffle in this tank I don't think is in the 82 maybe. What else we got going on? We got our box of parts with new weather stripping. We've got our weather stripping in around the doors. So we got some new stuff here. It's nice and squishy and soft. It's not made for the truck specifically, so there's a kink in each of the corners. But it still seals and that's all good. We got that in. And we put a mini spool in our rear diff. This truck is an open differential. It's a 7.5 inch rear end or 7.6, I don't know, whatever. 7.5, let's call it. And it's made of glass. So the problem with these is if you put any kind of power to them and any kind of traction, this becomes the weak link and it pops apart into a billion pieces. So what we did in order to kind of lessen its likelihood to grenade and to improve its ability to do the burnout contest and accelerate well, we put in what's called a mini spool. So that applies power to both axles evenly instead of just applying all the power to one axle. So I'm thinking that makes the axles twice as strong. So that's my thinking there. Less likely to blow up a rear end by putting that mini spool in it, and it's going to make it go down the track better and do burnouts better. So can't be doing no one wheel peels, man. Nobody cares about that. We got our shocks out. You guys saw us do that. I'll get those in once I get the rear end all settled. The rear end is just loosely bolted in at the moment. It's not, you know, the bolts aren't even tight on it. Matter of fact, I got one there. It's not even the right bolt. I have the right bolt in the bucket. So I got to put all the right bolts in. I don't have locking nuts on the U-bolts. I got to swap those. Everything's just kind of hand tight on the rear diff. And I'm leaving that like that until we get it back on the ground under its own weight so I can figure out how to set the rear end height. We have drained our fluid, as you can see, made a big mess. We got fluid everywhere. And looks like a crime scene under there, doesn't it? But anyway, we got all the fluid out of it. I took the tail shaft housing off, cleaned the inside and outside of that to make sure there was nothing in it. Kind of went through everything I could reach and made sure there was no metal anywhere. And I think it's finally clean and we're ready to go. I haven't put that in yet. Our drive shaft, we took the yoke off in order to put it, to clean it up basically. Where'd I do it? There it is. So we did, we cleaned it up. We soaked it in some distilled vinegar for like 4 days. And it took all the rust off, but there's quite a bit of pitting on this thing. So I'm a little concerned that it might leak or drip. So we'll have to just play that by ear and see. If it has to come out, it has to come out. But it took all the rust off of this thing very well. So yeah, vinegar does work. And we picked this up. That's right, that's a 300. That is not the 300 we talked about. And there we go. We have our adapter plate for the transmission. And so got my dash out. Starting to line that up, figure out what I'm going to use and what I'm not. There's some more crap we took out. And for you guys wondering about the wiring, that's the factory computer. Oh, there's my e-brake. Anyway, there's all the wiring we've cut out so far. So yeah, and a bunch of this is probably going to go away as well, but not yet. That's less important than just getting the damn thing running. All right, guys. So yeah, as you can see, we've got our engine. Dallas got that one running. He did have quite a few issues. We had a distributor problem we needed to deal with. The carburetor that he got for it didn't work, so he ended up putting that Quadrajet on there. Plus, it gives you that toilet flushing bawoosh whenever you open up the secondaries. So they're cool. They're GM products, so it's all good. So anyway, yeah, we got our engine. We got our transmission ready to go. I've just got to do some clearancing on the transmission cross member. This should take me like 5 minutes. I got to clean up the garage before we can stab this thing in there and start making some room for stuff. And then when we get the engine in, then I can start hooking up the wiring for reels and start putting things together, like bring a battery out, start hooking up the battery and stuff like that. So I got to make sure the starter fits. I got to make sure the torque converter fits. There's a lot of ifs. So there you go. So there's the update. Oh, and what I didn't tell you was, I told you that we had problems with the engine, so we decided we're going to build that engine correctly, and in order to do so, that's going to take some money. So this engine is just Dallas's mule motor. This is the engine he built to take to the dyno, get a dyno sheet on it as a baseline of what is just a stock 300 makes, and then he would use it for, trying out other things. So since it's a running engine, even though it's not a great engine, apparently. I haven't heard it run yet, but Dallas said it's got about 100,000 miles on it. It was full of cat litter when he got it. It was sitting in pieces on the floor in the guy's garage for years and years and years. So apparently there's some scoring in the cylinders. It's got some issues. What we're going to do instead is, I mentioned, we're going to do what Dallas is calling the Boogie Nights 300, and that's going to be a 300 Buick. So I'll run this one for now in the truck just to keep it running and driving around. And then Dallas and I are going to work on putting together the long rod 300 and then swap that in here and see just how much cooler that might be. Because that will be the engine with the aluminum heads, the aluminum intake. And the plan is to do that over the winter. So by spring, hopefully, we'll have a badass engine we can toss in here. But for now, we have a stock 300, and I got to clean up the garage and get that thing in here. So next video will probably be me stabbing that engine in here, doing stuff like that. We'll definitely film the first time I fire it up. That may be a couple of weeks. I don't know yet. It depends on, how long it takes me to get some of the accessories and stuff I need to do it. We'll probably light it off even without the water pump hooked up and stuff like that. So as soon as I get it in here, I'll probably light it off. I need to get the, well, you'll see. I'll show you everything we do as we do it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Please do all that stuff that helps the algorithm. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Blah, 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 blah. And we'll see you in the next video. Hopefully a lot closer to done.